George Meservey with us, and Patty and David and Hardy and Judith and myself, Lynn. And Mia, any public comment this morning?
No reason.
Thank you. George is here. I asked him to come and just talk a little bit about the new comprehensive plan, which if you haven't looked at it, it's really worth looking at. I didn't read it all, obviously. I picked out some things that I thought were of interest to open space, but one of the reasons it's so worth looking at is, I don't know if you've seen the artwork in it, it's amazing. So highly recommend looking at that. But I went and copied some pages just because to bounce and say, go to page whatever and whatever. We're going to sort of look at some of these because I thought they might, the printer didn't do very well, but.
Death trap.
Yeah, trip over something. And there were some other pages of interest to me, but, and I guess gave George copies of these. I think it's about 200 and, how many pages? 256 pages?
230, yeah, it's down from 330, so
So
we're
that's,
in the right direction. We're looking for 10. 10 was the goal, but I didn't quite make it.
So the first page I took out just for us was the page 33, and I tried to pull anything that was applicable to open space, and there are some crossovers between this and the open space rec plan, which hopefully you're all familiar with that. This one just shows the different neighborhoods that they created for, I don't know how you came up with those, but that's, you want to say anything about those, or you don't need to? That's sort of what we're looking at. Thank you. Pretty self-explanatory. The second page, pulling out page 36, the total land area, but the 30% protected open space and 28% land area in flood zone. The third page, I copied from page 45 because I was interested in these figures, and maybe, George, you can speak to this. I'm confused numbers-wise, but it talks about 27% of the land as tax exempt, and they include permanently protected open spaces. And when you talk about 2,067 acres plus 517 acres, that comes to a greater amount than 2,437 acres. So I don't know how the math works here. Anyway, developable lands comprise less than 7% of the land area of town, which that figure stuck out to me.
It's actually fairly close. That's the APCC last night came out with a very similar.
Yeah, and that's,
Just for Orleans or?
Just for Orleans.
Okay.
So anyway, those math figures mismatched, and it happened again later on. The next page I picked out because of the acreage of salt marsh, which I think is a very important area, and the acres of freshwater wetland. And I think particularly we should be looking at properties that abut salt marshes. But the other thing on this page, it talks about 1,811 acres of publicly protected open space and 565 acres of privately held open space. On the next page, it says 1,881 acres, different from that page. So two different pages, 88 and 57. So which one is the correct one? George, unless you...
Is that a rhetorical question?
Well, on page 57, it says 1,811 acres of publicly protected open space, and on page 88, it says 1,881 acres.
Well, doesn't that include the privately held open space?
No, because after that is 565.
Yeah, after that.
So they have the
Yeah.
565 correct. What it didn't include in there.
I got you.
So that was confusing to me. And obviously.
So 1811 versus 1881, I'm guessing, is a typo. I mean, those two numbers are
too close.
are very, very close. I'm guessing that one,
One is the
One
other.
is the big
yeah,
one.
one is
Oh,
the
yeah,
correct
that's
number.
probably, yeah.
I think
Being
that-
someone with big thumbs who hits the wrong,
I don't know if it's a typo or not. It's 10% chance it is. But, you know, I think the message here, the percentages of land of total land area of the town that is either publicly or privately held for open space purposes, the message is clear. You know, a significant portion of the town has already been protected. A larger portion of the town has already been developed. There's a small amount of land that is remaining, and that goes right to your committee charge to try to monitor and strategically plan for those lands that are remaining. So I am actually not hung up on the difference between the comp plan numbers and the open space plan numbers, although I will reconcile them for you, because then I'll get your response back on that. But I don't think it changes the thrust of either of the plans.
Sure, I totally get your point. I mean, my other question there was when you're talking about open space categories, don't the farmland, forest, recreation, and conservation restrictions include tax exempt properties? And if so, then your tax exempt number also changes.
Yeah, no, I
That's
think
just
those
me
are tax
messing-
deferred.
Is what?
Those are taxed at a lower amount, but they
Okay.
are not tax exempt.
Okay.
The statute indicates what
tax
the value.
exempt include like churches, nonprofits, religious,
Yeah,
yeah, which would not come into developed versus undeveloped.
It's a
Like
different
that big
category.
one by Rock Harbor.
Sorry,
The big one by Rock Harbor.
all of them.
yeah, yeah, and you know, that's the basis of this is the assessor's land use codes, and there are about, I don't know, 200 land use codes up and down, and you try to fit those as neatly as you can.
I have one question on open space, sort of related. Flowers Lane, end of Flowers Lane, that old motel, I assume that's owned by the town?
Wildflower Lane?
Yeah, Wildflower Lane.
That is owned by the town, and that is slated in the town's capital plan for seasonal worker housing.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask.
It's surrounded by a flood zone and wetland.
That's why I
but
was
there's
wondering
there's an
if it's all
envelope in
gonna
there,
go up.
yeah.
Well, that's where we've been looking at that, the properties around there.
Galligan, Gavin?
Right.
Gavigan, former Gavigan, yes, we refer to the property by the previous owner's name, yeah. And the two buildings on the property right now, one
Oh,
is
yeah, I know,
needs to
yeah.
be completely rebuilt, the other just restored.
Okay, going on to page 92. The evaluating opportunities for small-scale neighborhood pocket parks and recreational amenities. And I asked George about this because I know Andrea's brought it up with us before. Oh, you need to be looking downtown for open spaces, pocket parks. And it's my understanding really that when people go to develop in downtown, that the zoning laws require that they have open spaces? Or are we looking?
There is open space required for significant developments, but it's not a lot. I mean, it can be satisfied with building setbacks and landscape requirements and other things, so there's a lot of crossover in those elements. So I don't think that is a strategy to protect open space.
Yeah, I think it's not what we consider open space.
You know, we have an open space.
It's like small areas that aren't filled with brick and mortar.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
what?
and in subdivisions, there are a couple of cluster subdivisions in the town, and the peripheral land was created, left as open space, and is protected as such.
Do you see opportunity for pocket parks downtown? Do you have a particular?
I think the interest was to do them not in the downtown, in other neighborhoods.
Okay,
Like there's a piece of land at the corner of Freeman's Lane and Tonsett, in the V there, as Freeman's goes off. And that property is town property. It looks like open space, but it does not have conservation, it doesn't have protection over it. There is a wetland nearby. It's possible you could put a small park in there. There was a move to do that many years ago, and the neighborhood actually didn't want it because they were worried about, well, the neighbors didn't want to see it in that location.
What's considered a pocket park size-wise? What's the difference?
I think it can be any size you
Any
think is
size.
appropriate, yeah. Yeah, but it probably at a minimum requires, 2 or 3 parking spaces, which could be roadside potentially. So, where there are opportunities or small pieces that make sense, I think it's something to pursue.
Depot Square is a pocket park, for example, would you say?
Depot Square serves a variety of functions. It's
Yes,
used for
yeah.
Art fairs and
Sure.
craft shows and things like that, and as well as a lot of bike parking and vehicle charging, and we have a plan to redo that,
Yep.
that park. I would say that is larger than a parking park. That's like 1.1 acres.
The window on Tonsu, what is that called? Well, not on,
The window on the cove?
yeah,
Window on the
Oh, the window on the
Window on the
cove.
cove.
Those are all town conservation properties.
that would be like a pocket park though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I guess it serves,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Meadow
I
on
suppose
the
it can be
cove.
any size you think is appropriate.
The windmill, meadow on the cove,
Right.
window on the cove, those I think would all be considered pocket
Right.
parks.
I guess the question then, Lynn, is it too late to consider, should, as the downtown area further develops, or is there an opportunity or a desire to put in some open space so that it's not building? It may be too late and that's the plan is the plan, but I was just following up on your point. It would be probably aesthetically more pleasing if you had a little bit of, whether it's a pocket park or a little bit of space or
Well, I
greenery.
think that area that now has the artists' shacks
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever they're called,
Yeah,
I think that almost serves now as a sort of pocket park or opened area.
yeah.
I think when and if that gets completely filled in with buildings, that's gonna be something we really miss, because it does give
Mhm.
it gives an open feeling, it gives a place where people can kind of wander.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's not town-owned.
It's not town.
It's not
town-owned.
No,
No,
It's a
and I
temporary-
suspect it
realize
will at
that.
some point in time be developed.
I'm sure you're right.
Oh,
I mean, there
too
there
bad.
was a very large development plan for it,
I had expected it several years ago.
130 units of housing,
Oh, my God.
yeah.
Yeah, from Staples Plaza all the way up to the Chocolate Sparrow. That whole property is
Yeah,
owned by one person.
Yeah.
yeah. What, yeah, including the area that used to be Nani's and Mac Reed's and.
Right.
I would love to see more aggressive combo scenarios, like if that lobster place ever goes belly up by
I
Poland.
think it's
No,
belly,
easies.
belly up.
It is
Sorry.
belly up.
It looks
It's still there.
But that would be a great opportunity for both, like some kind of housing and then a nice section of park going down to Poland.
And that connects into the playground and at the elementary
Yeah.
school too. Yeah, it's a very good idea.
And I think the combo thing is a possibility, especially in the downtown area.
Mhm.
And we're not the only ones that look at that property's
Yeah.
looked at often, and
Right.
as well as his.
I think it was considered for the fire station. It's been.
The town needs that property
looked
for
at for
a
community
sewer
center.
sewer pump station connection, to connect to 6A. So it's possible the town may take that in the future. We'll see.
Is it like in belly up, kind of?
I don't think it was open last year, if that's what you're.
Oh, no, I mean taxes and everything.
My understanding there, it is not currently in foreclosure.
Okay.
Has anybody, and I think we all kind of know who owns that property where the cottages sit and Staples and all that, has anybody ever, in your knowledge, reached out to that owner to see if they would like to donate a piece of it for open park space, or maybe?
I think that in the master planning, there are ample public spaces planned there, whether that master plan comes to be. But
Which master plan is this, the one that?
the one that the property owner brought forward in 2017 that became the
Okay.
basis for some zoning changes.
Yep, okay.
Yeah. But we have not directly said, can we have a piece of your land?
Is that appropriate?
I
Or do we
think-
stay out of it?
I think
Does
under the
open
community
space stay out
charge,
of it?
you can determine and review priority target parcels for protection.
Send in the right place.
I see that the role of this committee is to keep your thumb on the pulse of the land ownership community to see where there are opportunities so that they can be considered.
And that's the biggest opportunity downtown in my mind, or one of them, anyway.
One of them, yeah, there's some others.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be, it doesn't hurt to reach
right,
out.
What can you?
Yeah, I agree.
Can always
You know,
say
I mean,
no.
Right.
It never hurts to ask.
I can anticipate the answer is, not at this time, and when we think about a lot bigger picture, there may be some opportunity to work together. I'll bet that's what you hear.
The last thing on that page was the provide uniform Orleans branded public information on open space, signs, interpretive displays, all that. I mean, OCT does a great job with theirs, and now they have funding to do that. Is that something that we should be doing with, say, the little bit of funds that we have? Should we be updating a open space, something for the public? Or is that not in our purview?
I don't know how aware you are that the town is just finishing up a branding effort.
Oh, yes, I've been watching it
Okay.
all.
Yep, good,
Fully aware.
good. So, as that is completed, I think we want to put out, over time, or show Orleans in a consistently branded way. So, that's a decision there. With regard to this particular, public information signs, this was assigned to conservation, and let me just, go into the town comprehensive
Right.
plan, I just want you to understand that the town manager's office would like to move from a committee-driven workflow to a staff-driven workflow, so that committees have a role, but don't have to drive it. So the Open Space Committee does not have to push to get something done. Your staff will try to do the maneuvering and the administration for you. So,
Does that mean they're gonna pull it out from our hands as well?
pull out,
Well, if you have a staff-driven versus committee-driven, then it's like, what is our real role?
yeah, right, that's,
It's an absolute good question.
so with, Ann, let's talk about that. So my understanding is, when I came here, 1998, for crying out loud, we were transitioning from sort of to a kind of a committee-led community, and there were a lot of committees that were appointed and brought in whatever expertise to the Board of Selectmen. Prior to that, it was a 3-member full-time Board of Selectmen who ran the town, per se. So that time is kind of transitioning to professional staff being directly responsible for things in the comprehensive plan and other things to get them done. So I am your assigned staff. I thought that was appropriate. If you want somebody else, let me know.
We can all,
I won't be overly offended for very long.
We like you, George.
So that's why in the comprehensive plan, you'll see under the open space section, there are, town departments are assigned. So the conservation department is assigned for public displays at conservation, at
Right, okay.
open space areas. The planning department has the assignment for updating the open space plan, helping to prioritize properties, and that's where I want to work with you. So as you know, the open space plan was completed and is good for 10 years. 10 years is very good for my trajectory. And I think, with the help of a lot of you here, I thought it was an exceptionally good plan, and it gives us just what we need, and we're fully eligible for state funds when the time comes.
And that last thing you were just talking about is carbon tailored for the Cape we shape.
Yes.
Association to Preserve Cape Cod,
Yeah.
they're doing a whole new campaign. They've got one more seminar at 12 today or 4:30 tomorrow. Basically, what they want to do is work, they're not doing funding or anything, they just want to educate, promote, and help work with towns and communities to help conserve that last 14% of land we have left on the Cape of undeveloped land, and have ideas to work with.
So the only comment I have on that is the town of Orleans has spent about $50,000 $59 million to sewer its downtown and build a treatment plant for its downtown. And the zoning has commensurately been changed by town meeting. So in my mind, aside for the pocket park thing, which still is a little intriguing in the right location, I would not focus open space efforts where there is public sewer available. That's a place where the town can grow, and needs to grow somewhere. That's an appropriate place as designated by the town meeting. So I think those, but if you look at the land use map of Orleans, there is a lot of hinterland, you know.
Right.
90% of the town's
Absolutely.
land mass is not in a commercial district.
And
Correct.
to your point, George, I think there is opportunity for developers, quote, to speak with this committee about the potential for pocket parks or open space within their developments in order to make them more appealing, both to the town and more acceptable. So I
Yeah.
But it's not a have to for them, they don't have to
No.
speak to us like they have to speak to other
Right.
groups.
And just as a point of information, I'm just gonna, I'll free associate for a while. The state law 40B, Mass General Law, Chapter 40B, is a state law that allows a developer to come into a community that has less than 10% affordable housing and to seek a one-stop shopping permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals for any project that has 20% or more of affordable housing. That has long been a fear of the community because we have some areas in town that an unscrupulous person could come in, or an aggressive developer, excuse me, could come in and do a lot of market housing, 20% affordable, and really change the character of the community. Orleans, to its credit, is now at 11.7% affordable housing. So if aggressive 40B came in, the town of Orleans would have the ability to fight it at the state level. There's a building appeals committee at the state level for 40B projects. So I think we have crossed that hurdle, and I think the town has much more sovereign control about land use decisions in the future. So we're not subject to 40Bs. that are
I think
aggressively
the town of
come out.
Orleans is way ahead in a
Yeah,
lot.
highest on the Cape, yeah.
Yeah.
And yet we still see a significant housing crunch that affects the economy, affects families growing up here, everything. So we are trying to address that primarily, again, in the downtown where we have public sewers.
Makes sense.
All right, enough free associated, I'm sorry, Lynn.
No,
Back
that's
to your
okay,
agenda.
no, it's all good. I'm just gonna, the next, page 167, I pulled that out, just to show the different, well, it shows open space, municipal and federal, and then it lists the different areas that they identified in the, town, bike trails. And the last section, page 212 and 213, sort of a repeat, but the wildlife plant habitat, these are areas we want to watch for. These locations as far as open space available around any of them. And the open space, the next part is the same as the goals on page 92, but George, you wanted to pick up on the page following that, which I think is the natural systems. Is that what you have here? Which I didn't give you.
I just wanted to talk about the action plan mostly that's in the town plan. And if you look at it online, everything comes up, reads like a book, you open it up, you can read right across. We had some publication issues with the hard copy, so those probably won't be something we'll be using. But I think I just wanted to make the point that we have a lead responsible agency, which is a staff department now assigned for all these things, but that does not, in my mind, in any way diminish the role of the Open Space Committee. And I think I went to your charge just to make sure I was clear, and the first two items of your charge are to make recommendations to the select board and town meeting regarding acquisition, and to determine and review priority target parcels for protection. There's several other things, but I think those are the main things that do not change now and are still highly valid. And I hope that we're able to discover or identify the right time where properties that we want are available.
Okay.
I think that's pretty much all I had to talk about the comp plan. And as part of my spiel, the comp plan is a guide. It is not prescriptive. It does not require the town to spend money or make a specific decision. The recommendations herein are meant to be comprehensive in scope and nature, broad enough that they include all the issues that the town of Orleans needs to address over the next 25 years. This is a 2050 projection plan. So all spending decisions, all bylaw decisions will have to go through approval at a town meeting. So I'm hoping that this carries the day at town meeting, and we don't get hung up on
Acreage numbers?
In the Brewster, they got hung up on the walkway to Wing Island, and it defeated their
remember
comprehensive
that.
plan at town meeting. Yeah, so hopefully we learned a lesson from them. Thank you, Brewster.
While you're here though, too, can you tell me again how you choose what you call priority parcels in town? And how you separate them between A, B, and C? What's your?
Yeah, I think they're in open space plan, they're a set of kind of
There are.
criteria that we want to use. And we kind of use the Ian McCargill, the overlay method, where you overlay constraints and interests. And as you overlay wetlands and flood zone and other, ACEC and characteristics, you'll quickly identify what are the properties that get you the most bang for the buck. And I don't think that is, to me, continuity with existing open space is really important. Because if we're not making places where wildlife can continue to flourish and has enough space, we're probably doing it a disservice if everything's fragmented. So, this is the previous plan. This is in the 2025 open space plan, and on the other side is the working map that we all used last time.
Yes.
And we added a couple things to it. The priorities, A, B, and C. I know, this is really good television, by the way. I can't see
Yeah, I
anything
know,
I'm talking
like
about.
the back of George.
I know. Priorities A, B, and C were just, they were kind of derived through an iterative process. Parcels that were already on there from the previous plan were carried forward. We added a few. I thought it was important to be as inclusive as we could with this priority map, because if you go to the state for a reimbursement grant, you want to say it was on priority of the town as listed in the approved plan. Stephen, you probably have your own priorities. You can
Sure,
put
yeah,
in
but
a
there's a lot
lockbox.
of overlap.
Yeah, right. And, in my mind, there's such a terrific match that if the town can encourage or support OCT to do things, everybody wins. Yeah. So, I don't know if you want to spend time on this, Lynn, today. You had mentioned that.
We will be looking at it
Okay.
at another, but what, did you want to say something?
No, I think that's it. I think what I found, the map is a little busier, this version, but it contains all the existing open space, so you can see where there's potential connectivity. And I think that becomes, yeah.
And I'm glad to have heard you comment on the importance of salt marsh, and I'm glad to see that reflects some of it too, because I think one of the biggest things we've got to start doing is looking at where salt marsh can migrate.
Yeah.
Because there's too many places where it's now up against revetments, or it's up against elevations where we are not going to be able to recover or build additional salt marsh. There's very few areas that are low enough that can actually get inundated and allow salt marsh to start going in. And that's just huge. I was glad to hear you say that in
Well,
terms
that's
of
just
findings.
following up on that, two things. One, you had talked about a grant that you applied for.
The OCT and the town are considering a joint application for an MVP grant to restore, I hope this is not private discussion, to restore the saltwater flow at the Nemaquite Bog down the end of Nemaquite Road there.
Steve knows that's.
And then is there a map that looks like that but shows you, well, I guess some of it you do see that, but it shows you where, I guess you do see it, where salt marsh is. It's not all of it's showing.
Yeah, let's see, we
Not much
don't,
of it's showing on that.
I see.
yeah, we do
Fine,
show
same somebody else.
some,
If you need any.
yeah,
photos,
any wetlands that are shown next to the ocean, I think, are essentially salt marsh. We could call them out directly and highlight them, make them a little easier to identify.
But there's
all of-
another really good map that I think it's Center for Coastal Studies that has put together, where they have actually gone through and not only looked at these salt marshes, but they have designated which ones need to be protected because they're in great shape and have potential for surviving, which ones are almost destroyed and have no chance of ever coming back, so just walk away and leave them, and which ones are sort of in that middle where they're threatened, they're degrading, but with work and attention, they could be saved. And I think that's hugely important for what we've already got, and then there's the additional.
This harsh winter we're having right now may be really beneficial in the long run for the salt marshes.
Absolutely, with the snowpack, it's great.
Yeah,
And the ice.
let's kill some of those crabs.
So,
You
Steve,
would.
has that study completed and with it
I'm not
determined?
sure. I'm
Okay.
not sure. Good question.
Okay.
Oh, you're talking about Namaquay Bog?
Yeah,
No, not quite.
okay.
May is the time frame that this
Is
this
that
first phase.
leaning towards or no decisions yet?
Think-
I mean, you know me.
Yeah, no, I think we're
Tell me to shut
leaning
up.
towards a preferred alternative of replacing the culvert under Namaquay Road with a larger culvert that would allow.
And allowing more flow. Okay, I think that would be just fabulous.
Well, you know, I've got a lot of aerials there if you need any. so.
Yes,
Significant amount of permitting has to occur on that.
for sure. Can I just say on that, I have only found the published open space plan on the Open Space Committee's webpage, and I can't find that map anywhere in the plan. So I don't know if it's just a missing appendix or something.
Yeah, it should be in there, but let me check.
Great.
Yeah. But, glad to give you a copy.
No, I think I've got the latest copy, but.
Okay, yeah.
All right, George, I have taken up enough of your time. Does anybody have any questions for George before I
No, it's been very
release him
educational.
to
Thank
his
you.
next meeting?
Yeah, well, that is the job, bounce from issue to issue.
This was, 98 was the year I arrived too. I didn't realize we arrived the
Holy
same year,
moly.
George.
Yeah, well, you gotta live somewhere, right? This is a very nice place to live, with a wonderful community that wants to do things like this. It's not, you're not pulling teeth. So,
But it was a very different world here in Town Hall in those days.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And we're in a change right now, so we're making that transition. And hopefully it's a positive one. And it, puts you in a position where, as a committee with an interest, you can get that, make sure that that interest is articulated and brought forward. And I think there is still a role for the Open Space Committee to be in front of the select board. You're appointed by the select board, you're advisory to them. So I can make sure things on one end are getting heard and described, but I think your committee definitely needs to go be out in front in public
So,
sometimes.
and on that note, we should, if we come up with what we come up with, should we approach you first before we approach the select board? and
Yeah,
all
I
that?
think so. And
So, like,
let's see it,
run-
sometimes there is some sort of background or some homework to be done,
Right.
so that you get the
So you
best
could
possible hearing by
Help
the
us
select
kind of
board.
Get the outline.
Yeah, so let's try to anticipate those things.
Is it
Okay.
us that presents or you? Because you were just saying, there are now steps, there's us, and then we go to you,
Yeah,
and then
and
you
and
go
I
to.
and I think it is,
And that happened.
I think it is your staff person who would be doing that
Yeah, that's what I-
presentation with your support.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't mean you can't go up there and say something at public comment.
Right, right.
Anytime you want, yeah, yeah.
I think that staff-driven has the potential for better coordination of efforts between interested parties, if you will. So, good I'm not saying there isn't now good coordination, but good coordination between like the Conservation Commission and the Open Space and Recreation, where sometimes, not intentional, but there's sort of a tendency for all of us to be sort of pursuing our own little agendas. And
Yeah.
if one staff person is sort of overseeing all this, so
Right.
along that end, I think as we're moving forward and we have our eye on things or thoughts on things, that needs to get to George, so he's just aware of it, so that then when there's a staff meeting and they're talking about this, and this, he knows where open space is coming from on it, as opposed to maybe where conservation is.
I think anything that moves beyond, the current level of potential to a possible
Yeah.
project, let's coordinate on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The way that the select board talks about at the end of their meetings, they give committee updates.
Mhm.
Do you do that as a staff, a group of?
Absolutely not.
No, oh.
No.
Well, then how would you know?
Do you have do you have a select board liaison who attends your meetings?
Well, Andrea, and she was gonna be here today, but she's not, so I'm not sure. what's
Yeah, I
going
mean,
on.
she's liaison, so
She's
I think
not-
if there's something important for her to make sure it's conveyed to the select board ahead of time, that's up to
Sure.
either the chairman or me to make sure that gets conveyed.
But what I was saying to you is, how do you know what your other staff liaisons are hearing? How do you talk to each other?
We talk on a regular basis.
You do, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You share what.
that's what I
Yeah,
assumed.
That's what I meant.
George and
There's
John are in
there's a lot of
communication.
coordination that needs
Yeah.
to go on to make the town look smooth on the outside.
Yeah.
So you know what somebody else is doing in, Shellfish and Waterways or in the Conservation Commission, you're aware
To,
of.
to a great extent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
Yeah, and as a town planner, I try to be aware of all the pieces at a generalist level so that we can make sure we kind of coordinate well, but
Without having to watch everybody's meeting minutes, right?
yes.
So
Hopefully.
what staff person oversees recreation or liaison?
Tom DeServo, who's the rec director.
Oh, of course, okay,
Yeah, right.
thank you.
And Tom was instrumental in the open space plan that was just done. And we put a renewed emphasis on recreation that hadn't been there before.
That was a little blip in the brain.
Yeah, that's, who reports to the town administrator?
Well, you've been here since 1998.
Well, I know.
Yeah, no. Things have changed.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you for your time, Lee.
Yeah.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
glad to give it, and I'm glad to be here anytime that it's helpful.
Okay.
But I'll bet you would like to have conversations among yourselves and do background work on a variety of things before that. All right, good.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
George.
you, George. Can I keep the map? I'll bring it
Yes.
back to your office. Al.
Yes.
Okay. All right, everyone.
Yeah, you want to just talk?
Okay, great.
I'd love to. kind
Sounds good.
Hardy, I put you on here for CPC, but I didn't know if there's anything
We
to say
didn't
about it.
have another meeting.
No, I know,
anything,
yeah.
So,
Right, I figured that. It's always, I mean, I look back on meeting minutes and CPC is always there, and so I didn't want to leave you out in case you had something to say, but all good. Okay, we're still waiting.
It's not a public comment, but as long as Steve's now here, I'm delighted to see the OCT sign up on Townsend Extension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say-
Thank you,
Nice.
thank you. Trying to
Nice.
raise
Yeah.
visibility for that project.
Absolutely, and that's a nice approach that,
Mhm.
we haven't seen before, that's great.
Yeah, I think it is great too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I drove by and went,
I think the other big
slam on the
sign-
brakes, oh, hey!
We are
No
in a
accidents.
level 2 drought.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
That's
huge,
a comment, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so, all right, CPC, just a couple things from the chair's meeting. Well, he just mentioned the branding. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention to the branding efforts that are going around town. The logo will always stay the same. That's the historic logo you see on the top of stationery, but they have a new branding logo that is multicolored, but then comes in single colors, which will identify different places around town. And you can watch the whole video on it. I know Amanda has worked very hard on this, and people have different thoughts on it, but
where is that?
well, she presented to the select board this past week, so whatever that Wednesday was.
Is it,
And
so that one you can watch online, but is the whole,
there's some of it, I think it is on the website as well.
yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I mean, is that,
Exactly. That's the new, those are samples.
I mean, these are, I think this was before maybe a
They
final
nailed it
decision was
down,
made.
yeah. Yes. And it's much more detailed in terms of how they have ideas about using those in the downtown area and in the town as a whole, but making downtown more user-friendly, being able to identify different areas of town.
It's a thing,
Yeah,
it's a thing.
branding.
It's the new thing, branding.
It's the new
thing.
Every organization goes through branding.
That's right.
Yeah.
So other than that, the other thing is we're still in a drought, everybody knows that, and there's gonna be a a larger push to make for awareness to the people that just seem to have no idea and still run their sprinklers all summer. But the same thing is probably going to be true this summer, or I should say definitely true this summer, that,
Well,
um,
we'll see, the snowpack helps. If we get more years with more snowpack, that would help more. But we're down so much. The last number I heard was something like, groundwater's down something like 38 inches.
yeah, so we are still.
I mean,
we
that's
are
a
still in-
multi-year
yeah.
recovery. We're not gonna get in 1 year sufficient
Yeah.
recover, so.
Well, they say 1 foot of snow is 1 inch of water in the aquifer, which is not much.
No.
And Judith, just on that, this is quickly off subject, but we need, let's say you get an inch of rain, because I think the misperception out there is that, oh, God, it rained all day long. and
Right.
How much of, for instance, if you do get an inch of rain over 24 hours, how much of that does get into the aquifer, if at any? I guess it depends on the dryness of the soil, right?
Or if it's frozen.
Well, it's dryness of soil, it's how fast it comes down. So if you
Okay.
get an inch in an hour,
Yeah,
an awful lot of it's just gone.
go wash it away.
If it's a very slow
Steady
trickle
rain.
drizzle, then much more of it is
I
apt to
understand.
sink
Okay.
in.
It's good to know.
The snowpack, I mean, that's not just the water then. The snowpack keeps the ground from evaporating the water that's there. So the
Yes.
snowpack serves to hold the water that's already in the
Okay.
ground. And then when it melts, it's generally, again, a slow
Slow
melt from the
melt.
Yeah,
bottom
yeah,
down.
yeah.
And so it actually absorbs instead of running down
Got
the
it.
road.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
so there's the upside of
But I
having
mean,
all this
I
snow hanging
think the
around.
water department realizes that it needs to do more, and they're starting a whole,
Yeah.
they're gonna do a whole program on
Yeah,
it,
no, I
an
think there's
educational. Because people
so much
also
ignorance out there.
completely misread that guideline, thinking that it's okay to sprinkle your lawn twice a week.
Yeah,
And it's not. The twice a week is you may use a handheld hose
Right, right, right.
twice a week. Okay? You may never use your lawn sprinklers.
Yeah.
That's done. No.
Unfortunately, none of it matters because none of it is enforced.
Well, it is. A number of but a lot of letters did go out. And what they require and rely on, of course, is citizens letting them know. And when you let the water department know, then they will send out a letter. And a second, and that's a warning, and a second letter does come with a fine. But they don't have the staff to be driving around town looking for
Right.
people
Right.
sprinkling. So
Right.
they absolutely require and rely on citizens making that call to the water department and
Right.
giving the exact address and
Right,
saying
right, right.
they, whatever the particular infraction is.
Yeah, and again, I think it's to educate, a sign out there saying that we're in a drought. There was really nothing to say that. It wasn't a visible thing
Well,
around town last year, so
There
nobody knew.
there was
or-
by the middle of the year, there were a lot.
Yeah.
There was a sandwich sign at the police station, there was a sandwich sign at the Rotary.
But again,
There was a sign
all
at
it
the
says,
dump.
we're in a drought.
Yes.
So I'm gonna, well, not gonna go there, but somebody who doesn't live here or year-round, thinks that they're on a well, so they're safe, number one, that's a misnomer, but perfectly well-intentioned, but have a sprinkler system, where seeing a sign saying we're in a drought doesn't mean anything to them.
Right, so that's again why they're aware of this, and they're gonna be increasing the educational and putting it into a whole program,
Mhm.
so that it's much more clear to people as to what is allowed, what isn't allowed, and what it means.
And landscapers.
It's a very large sandwich board when you start with the.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm sure.
you know,
So nobody's gonna
this
read it.
is- this
Yeah.
is-
yeah, yeah.
Best of them. All right, moving on.
And importantly, irrigation for food is allowed. That's completely exempt,
Right, right.
so.
Okay.
Okay, also from Chair's meeting, that was all from Chair's meeting, there is approximately $5 million in free cash this year. And I don't like the term free cash.
Is it
because everybody
certified?
brings out, it says not free. It's not certified yet, but
Oh.
that's what they're seeing,
Okay.
the possibility of, but that basically is gonna go to fire station. Or that's, I think, the goal,
Mhm.
because they need some more space for that. And they are installing EV fast chargers, at least 3 of them, I think, in Depot Square. So that's there'll be some over, there are some over by Stop and Shop, but this is a new set, you can see it on the map, and so that'll bring people into town just charging their cars. Okay, including my son-in-law, who's always looking for a place to plug his car in. Okay, and for us, I have still not had any response from John Sticks at Namaquoit or the Buckley property down by Skakit, so we'll maybe reach out again, but and I don't know that if the town's doing anything, but I know they're not doing anything about Sticks, but possibly Buckley, for a variety of reasons. And I sent you a letter, I copied to you a letter that I had sent to Mike Salitro about 72 Tonsett. And so we met, and it sort of had ended up on the back burner a bit. But my concerns about the state of the property for all this time I was not happy with that, thought it was irresponsible of the town. Anyway, it's gone to, he was very receptive, and Andrea came and George came, and you know, he's like, you're right, we've got to get on this. So he is going to be speaking with DPW and Rec to see how they figure into caring for the property, the process of a task force, and then planning for a design study and all that is down the road.
And do they say that we're allowed to have a liaison in that committee?
They are, it sounds like it, but I'm not going to put that in writing yet. And they are, the way he was wording it was a combination of staff and committees. And what that looks like, and people all, lots of people have ideas and want to say something, and that might not necessarily happen.
Right.
So we'll see. But they're preparing an update for the select board, either the 4th of March or the 18th of March, so we'll keep an eye out for that.
In the meantime, are they using that for staff housing?
No.
Lifeguards?
Nobody's living
No.
there now. No.
Oh, okay.
No, that's
It's like-
not, you
yeah.
can't, they haven't, they have some things they need to do there, inventory to start with, and
Oh,
I don't know how the insurance works for that. There's a lot of details around that they haven't addressed yet. So, TBD on all that.
okay.
And then I, wanted to look again at, so these, I printed these off also from the comprehensive plan, so pass these down, but,
You're so good to us.
I know, and here I'm
This is-
making paper, so I shouldn't.
Just
What these are,
spoiled.
this is the water resources, and it shows, this is in the comprehensive plan. And zone 2, the pink area, is, is this the right one? Yeah, zone 2, I can wreck George's map here. Zone 2, and I don't know if you understand, the Department of Environmental Protection. It means that, kind of the definition that I got was, it's the land area of an aquifer that feeds a well, and in Zone 2, certain land uses are restricted or prohibited to protect the water quality. But what you can see about this whole area is that it covers what we were talking about before. You had brought up Stephanie's landlord's property that's going on the market, Hardy. And that, I think, is, really not a non-starter for us because we're not, it's got a house on it and everything else. It's not. But these two lots here, and this is why I said bring your laptop, so if you could pull
Can you
these
hold
up.
it while
I
you-
know,
while you point?
it's hard to see.
Sure, I'll do this.
The,
It is there.
You can pull it up on your, if you have your GIS map open, you can pull it up there. But these two, this one here is where Bill lives, these two here. These two are priority parcel C. This is owned by the town, and it's, we were talking about this, and it's called vacant, that's what I meant to ask George.
that's
Select
right.
board
Municipal.
That's the last, yes.
General municipal, as is this little piece that abuts Baker's Pond. But you can see Zone 2 covers all this, The other, just looking at these properties here, well, so these two here, one is owned by Lillis Childs, who also owns this here, and not that, this here, I think, and has not responded to being reached out to on specifically that, especially. So he has this little piece here, and this little piece is, belongs to the heirs of John Doan. And it's not buildable land, it's just marshland, really can never be built on. So I was wondering why, that would not be something guessing that the town would ever want to spend money
It's
on.
built-
It's
not
can't build, they're not
If
big
it's
enough, it's
undeveloped.
marshland.
I agree.
So I'm not sure why it's like that. But moving next to those, this property and this property belong to somebody named Oceanus Lowry, who turns out to, he's the sister, he was the brother of Dawson Farber's wife. And he died a couple of years ago.
They're twins. They were.
But
Yeah,
Oceanus-
he passed away.
But 2 years ago, the property is still in his name. The taxes are paid, and the mortgage was let go in 2024. And so I don't know who's living there, or
Is there a house there?
there is a house on this one, and I think there's kind of a beat-up house on this one, and there has been a teepee there at times. I don't know if this teepee's still there. So I'm showing you these because I'm saying, is this something we want to look at? This property there is owned by a woman named Nora Bourbon, and I think she bought that land from them. Anyway, I'm showing you all that just to get your thoughts on whether that's something we want to ask about, or whether you had any thoughts on asking about that property. This one interests me too, why the town owns.
Well, that's not the whole, the town doesn't own the whole peninsula. The wells own the peninsula. The town just owns a little tiny piece at the base.
This here.
Yeah.
Well, that's wetlands. So there's a well here? What are you saying?
No, the Wells is the family that owns that peninsula. There's a home at the end of the peninsula.
You're right.
And it's a family that owns that. The town
Oh,
doesn't
I
own
see,
that whole
okay,
peninsula.
yeah, so the town.
The town owns this little
No, you
teeny
know what?
tiny beach.
Sorry,
that-
this is the priority parcels. C, this is the
Yes.
piece that the town owns
Right.
right there.
Right.
So that's, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's got a wetland in it. But so that's not.
And I agree, that's a huge priority. I mean, it would be a wonderful package, piece for the town to own. It would be great to remove the house and put in like a beach on Baker Pond. I mean, it spectacular, but my understanding from everyone I've spoken to is that that family has no intention or interest in giving it up. So.
The beach access here, it
No,
belongs.
that's not a beach. So that access over there, that's a town landing, I mean, a
Right.
state landing.
State.
It is a
You're
boat
right.
launch. It cannot be used for swimming.
Oh,
So the beach is right at.
Judith, you ought to be leading this committee.
The beach is right there. Just
Right.
that little, you know
Oh,
what.
but the state owns.
So the
that's boat landing,
state property is
okay.
the boat launch.
So on Baker's Pond, where's the trailhead parking?
That's
That by
up
those two
here.
parcels up there?
That's here.
Okay.
And there is a little beach there, but, you know, you gotta be willing to walk in through the
It's a
woods,
little-
which is
yeah.
lovely. I mean, it's fun.
It's a little sketchy, yeah.
It's
I
not.
hike there a lot, but I was just trying to get oriented, because Baker's Pond is a really interesting area, and if you take those trails, you can actually hike into Nickerson.
Yes.
Yes.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I don't know if we ever want to circle back to this, which we had pursued before.
What's that one?
It's Bay Ridge Road. You're coming off, that new development
Oh, right.
on the,
Oh, that's the state transportation building, or is that?
Right, that is there.
Okay.
Haven't we
And,
been turned down multiple times on that?
no, only once,
Okay.
So
Um,
is this the town property?
yes.
Okay. So then this
That's where
is,
he's got the old boats stored
Mhm.
and
Oh,
stuff.
The old boats are
Yeah.
stored there, and who knows what's that about.
Right.
I didn't,
And
and
he's
they,
tried to sell it, and the town wasn't exceptionally interested because they didn't think it was really buildable.
well, the last time, I remember correctly, and I brought it to George, was, he wanted more than, well, you know, he was made an offer over the phone that was less than he wanted. So,
and he didn't come back with a negotiating.
no, and so I don't know if it's worth pursuing again, or if anybody is interested in that. It's still, to me, it sits right on the, hey, morning.
Good morning, Andrea.
My apologies, guys, that we've had some issues going on here.
No
I
worries.
can't stay, but I have been listening for a few minutes. And Lynn, can I catch up with you by phone at some point?
Sure.
Great, great. I will keep listening.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
no, we were about to wrap it up, actually, just.
Oh, okay.
We had George here going over some things with us, and so, the last thing we just talked about was that Bay Ridge property again, whether we want to, it's a priority, still priority parcels, but C, well, the other one's B, I was thinking, I got them mixed up. Is that anything that anybody is interested in pursuing again, or not really?
I mean, when I spoke to John about, he thought there was a significant unlikelihood that it could ever be utilized. Now, if we want to sort of get rid of the boats and, connect it in and sort of protect the marsh in a different way, then it's definitely worth it. But I don't know if we're ever gonna see anybody build on it.
Do you have a street address number for that? I'd love to do a drive-by and try
I
to
think
orient
it's
myself.
8, 10, and.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real eyesore. Not, that
It's an
area is a bit
eyesore.
of an eyesore.
Well,
to
and
be
that's,
honest,
that whole, that all the way down around the corner, and that's something that the town has to address.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, does he have a permit to
Yeah.
park boats there that are potentially,
Yeah,
and it's a wetlands right behind it.
Right, no.
There's what is behind. Okay.
And it's on old, there's a, what do you call it?
And there's an area of upland in there? No.
Very limited, right against the road, and it slopes off into the,
Very difficult build, if
Yeah.
anybody's good.
I think the argument would be protection, environmental protection. And, I mean, it literally, I think that's part of the, isn't it in the NEMSCAC? It's sort of,
it's, yeah,
Creek,
Nancy
I
Creek.
think.
It's-
Probably not good for
Yeah.
what I was thinking either, which is that I'm still, oh, here's Jamie. Hi,
looking
Jamie.
for a dog park.
I'm still, a dog park, yeah, and I know, I don't know there's any other interest on this committee in
But-
doing that, but
but-
I really feel strongly that for us to be able to protect our town conservation areas and
Yeah.
OCT's conservation areas, we must locate an area where we can put in a dog park.
But Judith, before you go down that
Yeah.
path, it's very specific in the open space rec plan that is the rec department's purview of a dog
Dog park?
park. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, I wasn't aware
So
of that.
double check, read
Thank you.
through that to be sure, but it might be that you go to the rec department or go to one of their meetings
Okay.
and say, as you're looking at these spaces that you want to develop,
yeah.
if we brought land forward and the town decided to use it for a municipal purpose, then the rec department might step in and say, we want to put a dog park there. But we are not the ones that can go around. Do you see
Okay,
what
I
I'm
will,
saying?
yeah, no, I do, and I thank you for that. I will speak with him.
Yeah.
And again, I know it's not typical open space, but I just think that if we're going to ask people or tell people what appropriate use of conservation areas are,
I agree.
then we have to be able to direct them to some place where that is appropriate. I mean, you can't run your dog on conservation space. It is not passive recreation. Well, that's fine, but dogs need to be run. So where can you run your dog? So that, I think, is the piece.
Nauset Beach lately, I've noticed.
Well,
It's the only place
Nauset
they
Beach
can
is
think
fine,
of.
but that won't work in the summer. I
No.
mean, that won't work from April 1 to September 1, which,
Jamie, are you here to visit us?
Yeah, I just had a comment about, if it's okay, about the property you were talking about, Oceanis's property at
Yes.
Beaver Pond Road.
oh, good.
I believe that property is in the name, was in the name of both him and his sister, Judith,
Oh.
you pointed out, I believe they co-owned the property, but they have a younger sister that had been living in Hawaii. The house was empty for a couple of years after Oceanus died, and then last year they moved their younger sister into
Oh,
the house.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
good
She's
to know.
living- Yeah. She's
Thank you
living
for
in-
that, Jamie. I didn't even know that Sarah and Oceanus had a younger sister.
They
So,
have two.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. I can't think of
Okay.
it.
Oh, I have it.
But she, apparently she had been living in Hawaii. Now she's living here. They did a lot of work on it last spring to clean it up and get it like habitable. 'Cause-
Okay.
And then also it's just, like you were saying, Nora bought the property next door. That was a property that back in the day, Steve might remember when I was on the board of OCT, I had kind of tried to get OCT interested in that parcel. But Nora, I guess uses it for work. I think she does blacksmithing.
She's an engraver, I think.
Yeah,
engraver
and
of metals.
interestingly too, she does the sound healing baths at the Salt Cave. So I know her a little bit because I go to those. So if anybody wants some outreach to Nora, I'd be willing to do that.
I guess.
So it's Seneca,
Don't worry.
is that the name of the
Seneca,
system?
yeah, thank you.
Now, does she own both properties then, too? Both-
No, I think they sold the one property to Nora.
No, but then there's two more.
Oh, I think, yeah, I believe it's still probably in Oceanus's name.
It is in his name, but
Yeah.
obviously she's, okay. Thank you for that,
Anyway, that's all I
Jamie,
have
that's
for you.
helpful.
Thank
you.
Thanks for all your work, you guys.
good to see you. Drop in anytime.
It's always helpful to have inside information. on this.
Don't you love small towns?
Yes, yes, I
I
do.
know.
Then could I just say, this map unfortunately is not accurate. And
See, okay.
George knows that. I shared that comment with George, and I think it's being
And
corrected for.
what not accurate
Yeah, what
about
is
it?
it?
Tell us specifically.
I think the
I don't
zone
know what
2
that,
is
I don't
much
know what that
larger.
zone 2 is, but that's, the real zone 2 is this line here.
Yes,
Right, right.
Exactly.
And then,
I was gonna say, the zone 2 is much larger than shown here.
so I don't know what that is, but, and then the zone 1s are just
The wells.
out of place on this map, so there was some error in kind of portraying those on the
So
Romex
I
map.
believe, but I think a DEP zone 1 is a well with maybe 500 feet around it.
I think that's right.
Something like that.
There's some radius.
But I
Then
thought
the
these-
zone 2 incorporates all of the zone 1 plus additional, because that is like the wellhead, there's the immediate wellhead protection, and then there's the zone of contribution, I think they call it, that is the protection. Oh, so that's, yeah, I agree, Steve, this map is in error.
Yeah, and George knows that.
Okay.
Because my mother's house used to be on John Kenrick Road, behind the Speedway and her house was within Zone 2.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of those houses in South Orleans are within Zone 2. And so there are certain restrictions that they have in terms of building and that kind of thing.
And all those properties that are sitting within that zone 1 and 2.
Yeah, so there,
Yeah.
there really wouldn't be any properties within Zone 1, because the Zone 1 is just, it's the well. It's the actual place where the water's being pumped with a very small circle around it. So it's,
So this is not correct, you're saying?
the pink circle is incorrect. So to Steve's point,
Yeah, I
that
understand.
pink circle needs to be,
Right,
Yeah.
it's that green line, but
Right.
but the zone 1 is what this, and
Uh,
that's not correct either?
Correct, because the zone 1s are fully within the
Oh,
town's
town
water
water.
supply land.
yeah. So this is well 7 down here. on Quonset Road.
Down here.
That would be within the wellhead protection area. It's not sitting out separately. This well, whichever one this is on this map, it looks like it's sitting in the middle of Route 6. It's not, you know, it's over into that hatched area within the watershed. Well,
I still say, take a look at the comprehensive plan, the artwork is amazing. Even though there's some mistakes along the way. It's a lot of work that went into that, so it's helpful and needed. All right, so we are gonna not pursue anything right now on Baker's Pond. Is that the sense I get from everybody? Leave that alone for now? Okay. All right, anybody
was
have
that the
anything
chairman's
else?
business with the Baker's Pond Road? Is that the agenda?
Yes. Yeah, I would, well, because we had looked at that before, well, Hardy had brought it up, and then I realized that
Well, and
there were a priority parcel in there, but they're not, it's nothing that we're gonna do anything about, because they're not buildable, they're wetlands, and the taxes are being paid, so when you do, you just let it be. What were you saying? Oh, okay. All right, anything else? We don't have January minutes. Chris was unable to get them done before today, and he was gonna be here, so I'm not sure. Maybe he forgot. So we'll approve those next meeting, and our meeting changed to March 25th, because some of us will be away.
Correct.
Okay.
All right.
we'll see.
May and Maggie, yeah, she might be skiing, so she might not make it, so we'll see. All right, and motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.